Yo, what's poppin'? What's going on? It's your boy, Mr. Locario, the bad boy of the dating game. What's good? So real quick, I wanted to tell you guys that when you're dealing with women, right, the reason why you're gonna have a lot of issues in certain situations is because the girls you're trying to get with can tell that you have weak game. And when they notice that you have weak game, they're not interested. Because they see you as a guy who's weak. They see you as a guy who really is not going to be a good experience, and so they don't fuck with you. Or they fuck with you, they deal with you, but they'll play games with you because that's all you're worth to them at this point. Now, how can a woman tell that you have weak game? It's real simple. And shout out to my dude Miles, because he talks about this, is that your language exposes you. And also your actions expose you too. So what happens is that you guys have to understand that everything is connected. So the things you say and do tell a story about you. I'm gonna say it again. The things you say and do tell a story about you, right? So y'all think that what you say and do don't really matter that much. Oh, it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal I said it. It's not a big deal that I, did this thing. Understand that it is a big deal, because what happens is that everyone's taking into account what you're saying and doing. You understand? So, for example, let me give you a simple example where, let's say you holler at a girl, you text her to try to set something up, right? And then a half an hour goes by, she doesn't hit you back. And then you text her again, and she still doesn't hit you back. And now 6 hours pass, and then you text her again. So you've triple texted this girl. Now, like, remember I said everything's connected. Now, because you've triple texted this girl, what she's gonna see is this guy is needy and he seems a little desperate. Why? Because he's triple texting her. Now, check this out. A guy who has options, a guy who has a lot of women who are interested in him, would he triple text a woman? No, because he would text the woman once, and then if she don't respond, he'll just go to the next woman, or he'll just hit up the other girls that's on his team or whatever it is like that. So his actions are already showing that his game is weak. And see, this is the things that you guys don't get. Everything you're saying or doing is gonna tell something about you. This is why on the Real Game No Theory show, we can tell when a guy calls in, we already know what the deal is, because based on what you're saying and doing, shows you ain't got no game. Like the other day, me and Steve was on a show, and this dude called in. He calls in a lot. He's a cool guy or whatever. But the funny part is that he when he watches this, he knows that I'm talking about him. But I need to use him as an example because it's very important, right? So he calls in, and he says, well, Steve, I do my game this way, and, you're trying to say I don't have any game. So basically, what he's doing is he's trying to get Steve to admit that he has game, that the guy has game, right? So what happens is that he's looking for validation from Steve. So the mere fact that you're looking for validation from another man, or anybody else for that matter, shows that your game is weak. So the ironic part is the act of him trying to get validation by trying to prove to Steve that he has game is the exact thing that lets Steve know and lets me know that his game is not tight. Because a man whose game is tight does not look for validation. You see how that works? It's real simple. It's real simple. See, it's funny. I'll give you another example. Like, what I always find funny is this, is that, you guys know that I'm non-monogamous and shit like that, right? So, I talk about being in an open situation and all these things. What I notice is damn near 99% of guys, when I talk about this on the internet, damn near 99% of the dudes, when I talk about being non-monogamous, the first thing they think about is the woman fucking another dude. That's the first thing they think about, right? Why is that? The reason why that's the first thing they think about is because they're worried about if they were with a girl and that girl fucking another guy, right? But see, that thought process shows me that their game is weak. See, and what happens is that maybe 1% of the time or less than 1% of the time, right? I will have a guy say this. He'll be like a Lucario. That's interesting that, you're non-monogamous, because what's cool about it is that you have, time and energy and the space to get with multiple women. You understand? So what happens is that they're looking at it from that end of the spectrum. Now, why is it that they look at it from that end of the spectrum, but the other guys look at it from the other end of the spectrum? So one guy's looking at it like, yo, I can fuck all these women. The other guys are looking at it like, damn, I'm scared my girl's gonna get fucked. See, your language exposes you. See, remember I said it's all connected. So what happens is that when we have this conversation, the guy who has weak game is worried about what his woman is doing. The guy who has tight game is worried about what he's doing, or he's focused on what he's doing. You see how that works? Your language exposes you. You see what I'm saying? This is real simple. Because so when I hear a guy, because like I heard this dude, he was on his show, he was like, oh, that's crazy, because so you're telling me that you're gonna be with a woman and she's just came from sucking dick, and now you're gonna go and kiss her? But I'm like, well, wait a second. How come you're not looking at it from the other way around? How come you're not looking at it like I got my dick sucked and she's going to kiss another guy? You see what I'm saying? But see, guys won't look at it from that angle, because those guys don't in their real life have an abundance of women that want to fuck them. You see what I'm saying? So therefore, the angle you're going to look at it from is the angle that you live. So if you live in a scarcity mindset, if you're in a situation where you don't have multiple women, if you're in a situation where women aren't throwing pussy at you, of course the idea of talking about non-monogamy is going to scare you, because your mentality is strictly going to be based on you thinking about a chick you're with getting with another dude or leaving you for another guy. But that whole mentality, that whole thought process is showing how weak your game is. See, and this is how women can tell that you have weak game, is that they see what you say and they're watching what you do. And then that tells a story about you. You see what I'm saying? Tells a story about you. Because see, y'all look at it on the surface level. See, the surface level is, you're uncomfortable with the idea of non-monogamy. But the deeper level is that you have a fear that another nigga's gonna steal your bitch. You see what I'm saying? So your language exposes you. And see, women can tell that you got weak game because the things you say and do show her. It reminds her of other guys who had a weak game that she was dealing with. You see what I'm saying? See, think about it this way. Let's use an example of having money, right? Let's say, you have $100 million in the bank, right? You have $100 million in the bank. And you go out with your family to eat. And let's say you take your whole family out. Let's say the bill comes up to like $1,000, right? Now, because you have $100,000 in the bank, you're not going to be worried about if you can afford the check. You're not going to be worried about that. Why? Because you have $100 million in the bank, so you're not worried about $1,000, right? Now, let's say you don't have $100 million in the bank. Let's say you have maybe, I don't know, $7,000 in the bank, right? So now what's going to happen is that when that bill comes, you're going to be worried. Or even before the bill comes, you might say, hey, guys, can we split this? Or before you even go to dinner, you're probably not going to suggest that you pay for everything. You see how your actions and your language reflect your bank account? Because when your bank account is 100 million, you like whatever. I got this. Don't worry about it. But when your bank account is $7,000, you're like, shit, I can't be paying for no $7,000. We got to split this. I want to hang out with y'all, but we gotta split this evenly, or let's go to a cheaper restaurant or whatever, right? So you didn't have to tell someone that you had minimal funds. Your actions are telling them, right? You don't have to tell someone you have a lot of money in the bank. Your actions are telling them. You see what I'm saying? This is how it works. This is why when you say shit and you do shit, the woman can tell. And the reason why she can tell is because she's been there before. So like I used the example earlier where I was saying that a guy is going to double text, triple text. She's been in those situations where guys doubled and triple text. And then what happened is most of those dudes are the same dudes that if she actually goes out with and interacts with, she realizes, oh, these guys usually are needy. These guys usually are clingy. These guys usually are weirdos. So the next time a guy double or triple texts me, I'm not going to fuck with him. You see what I'm saying? It's real simple. But, I just wanted to say that real quick so you guys could have a clear understanding of what's popping off in these streets. I'm going to holler at y'all. Remember, the truth is inside you. Peace. I'm gone.